Hey, beautiful Taurus souls, come sit with me because I just did a reading that honestly gave me chills, and I need to share this energy with you right now. So I pulled some cards asking about this person in your life, and what I'm seeing is just wow. The universe is really speaking clearly today, and I think you need to hear this. Let me just say up front that this reading is about someone who is carrying some heavy regret right now, like the kind of regret that keeps them up at night. And before we even dive into the cards, I want you to know that what I'm picking up is someone who is absolutely terrified of reaching out to you because they know they messed up badly. Okay, so the first card that came out, and honestly it just flew out of the deck, was the Ten of Swords. Now, I know this card looks dramatic and intense, but hear me out on what this is really showing us. This card is telling me that this person experienced a complete mental and emotional breakdown after whatever happened between you two. Like they hit absolute rock bottom in their mind. The Ten of Swords represents that moment when everything comes crashing down and you realize you've lost something irreplaceable. What I'm seeing here is that this person spent so much time overthinking and analyzing what went wrong. They tortured themselves mentally, going over every conversation, every moment, every decision they made. And here's what's interesting about the Ten of Swords energy in this position. It's not just about the pain they caused you. It's about the pain they inflicted on themselves through their own actions. They stabbed themselves in the back with their choices, and they know it. This card is showing me someone who has been lying awake, replaying scenarios in their head. You know that thing where you think about all the things you should have said or should have done differently? That's what this person has been doing constantly. The mental anguish is real, and it's been eating at them for a while now. But here's the thing about the Ten of Swords that people don't always understand. It also represents the darkest point before the dawn. It's that moment where you finally accept that, yes, I really messed this up, and now I have to figure out what to do about it. I'm getting that this person finally admitted to themselves that they were wrong, like completely wrong. And that admission came with a lot of pain because nobody likes to face their own failures, especially when it costs them someone important. The swords in this card are representing all the harsh truths they had to accept about themselves and their behavior. Every sword is a realization, a painful acknowledgement of what they did or didn't do. What's really coming through strongly is that this person can't escape these thoughts. They tried to move on, they tried to justify their actions, they tried to blame circumstances, but eventually all of that fell apart and they had to face the reality that they are the reason things ended the way they did. And that's a brutal thing to accept, Taurus. It's like dying mentally and emotionally and having to resurrect yourself with that knowledge. Now let me pull back a bit because I want you to understand something important here. This Ten of Swords energy is showing me that whatever ending happened between you two, it was definitive for them mentally. Like they thought it was completely over, done, no going back. They convinced themselves that there was no way to fix it, no way to reach out, no possibility of reconciliation. But that belief is what's been torturing them because deep down, they don't want it to be over. The energy I'm picking up is someone who martyred themselves in their own mind. They decided they were the villain in the story, and villains don't get redemption, right? So they've been sitting in this pool of regret and self-blame, thinking they don't deserve another chance. And that's where we get into the fear aspect, because when you believe you don't deserve something, the fear of rejection becomes massive. I'm also seeing with this Ten of Swords that this person has been getting signs or reminders of you constantly. Like the universe keeps putting you in front of their face through songs, through places, through mutual connections, through random memories that just pop up. And each time it happens, it's like another sword of realization. They can't escape the fact that they lost something precious. What's interesting is that the Ten of Swords traditionally means an ending, but in this context, it's showing the ending of their denial, the ending of their ability to run from the truth, the ending of their excuses, and endings create space for new beginnings, which is exactly what the other cards are going to show us. So we've established that this person is dealing with some serious mental and emotional consequences of their actions. Now let's talk about what they're doing about it, because the next card that came out is the Hermit, and this is where things get really revealing. The Hermit is showing me that this person has gone into complete isolation mode. Not necessarily physical isolation, although that could be part of it, but definitely emotional and spiritual isolation. They've withdrawn into themselves to do some serious soul searching. And you know what, Taurus? This is actually a positive sign, because it means they're not just sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. They're actively trying to figure out who they are and what they really want. What the Hermit is telling me is that this person recognized they needed to do some inner work before they could even think about reaching out to you. They knew they couldn't come back as the same person who hurt you or let you down. So they've been on this solo journey of self-discovery and transformation. I'm seeing someone who has been reading, reflecting, maybe even going to therapy or talking to mentors, really trying to understand their patterns and behaviors. The lantern in the Hermit card represents the truth they're seeking, and that truth is about themselves, first and foremost. They're asking themselves hard questions like, why did I act that way? What was I afraid of? What made me sabotage something good? Where did I go wrong in my thinking? And these aren't easy questions to answer, Taurus. It takes real courage to shine a light on your own darkness. I'm getting that this person has been spending a lot of time alone, and in that solitude, they keep coming back to thoughts of you. But it's different now than it was before. Before, when they thought about you, it might have been casual or surface level. Now when they think about you, it's with this deep appreciation for who you are and what you brought to their life. The Hermit energy is about gaining wisdom through reflection, and the wisdom they're gaining is that they had something real with you, and they didn't value it properly. Here's what's really touching about the Hermit in this position. This card is showing me someone who is purposely staying away from you right now, not because they don't care, but because they care so much that they want to become a better version of themselves first. They don't want to reach out until they feel like they've done the internal work necessary to actually deserve another chance. How many people do you know who would actually take that approach, Taurus? Most people would just show up with empty apologies and promises, but this person is trying to actually change. The staff in the Hermit card represents support and guidance, and I'm seeing that this person is seeking wisdom from higher sources. Maybe they're praying about it, maybe they're meditating, maybe they're asking for signs about whether they should reach out or not. There's a spiritual component to their journey that wasn't there before. They're recognizing that what you two had or could have was something that connected on a deeper level than just surface attraction. But here's where the fear comes in, and this is huge. The Hermit is alone by choice, but also alone because of fear. They're afraid that all this work they're doing might not be enough. They're afraid that even if they become this better version of themselves, you might not want to hear from them. They're afraid that the damage is irreparable, so they keep retreating into their solitude, doing more work, thinking more deeply, but not actually taking the step to reach out. What I'm sensing is that they keep having these moments where they almost contact you, like they'll write out a message and delete it, or they'll think about calling and then talk themselves out of it. The Hermit energy is showing someone at a crossroads between staying in their safe isolation or taking the risk to emerge from it and face you with their truth. The interesting thing about the Hermit is that it's a card of wisdom, but also a card of potential stagnation. You can spend so much time in introspection that you never actually act on what you've learned. And I think this person is getting close to that tipping point where they need to make a decision. Are they going to stay on this mountain of self-reflection forever? Or are they going to come down and actually apply what they've learned by reaching out to you? I'm also picking up that during this Hermit phase, this person has realized some things about themselves that are directly related to what happened between you two. Maybe they realized they have commitment issues, or they realized they were scared of how much they felt for you, or they realized they weren't in the right headspace for a relationship at that time. Whatever it is, they've gained clarity about their own role in things falling apart. The light from the hermit's lantern is also illuminating you in their mind, Taurus. As they've been doing this inner work, they're seeing you more clearly too. They're seeing your value, your worth, your qualities that they took for granted, or didn't fully appreciate before. It's like they had to step back and be alone to realize what they had when they had you in their life. Now, we move into something that's going to shift the energy quite a bit because the third card is the Sun. And let me tell you, this card made me smile when it came out. After all that pain from the Ten of Swords and all that solitude from the Hermit, here comes the Sun bringing this bright, warm, optimistic energy. The Sun is telling me that there is hope here, Taurus. Despite everything that's happened, despite all the regret and fear, there's a future possibility that's bright and beautiful. This card represents clarity, truth, and joy, and in this reading it's showing me that if this person does reach out, and if you two do reconnect, there's potential for something really wonderful to develop. What I'm seeing with the Sun is that this person has this vision in their mind of what things could be like between you two if they got another chance. They imagine conversations where everything is honest and open. They imagine laughing together, spending time together, building something real together. The Sun is that idealized future that they're holding on to as motivation to work through their fears. But here's the thing about the Sun that makes this reading so interesting. This card is also about truth and authenticity. It's saying that whatever happens between you two moving forward, it needs to happen in the full light of day. No more games, no more hiding, no more half-truths. The Sun illuminates everything, and this person is starting to understand that if they want any chance with you, they need to come correct with complete honesty about everything. The child on the Sun card represents innocence and new beginnings, and I'm getting that this person wants a fresh start with you. They want to approach things with childlike wonder and openness, without all the baggage and mistakes of the past weighing things down. They're envisioning a scenario where you both can start again, but with the wisdom gained from what happened before. I'm also picking up that the Sun is showing success and achievement. And in this context, it's about successfully becoming the person they need to be for you. They see reaching out to you as this ultimate goal, this bright thing on the horizon that they're working towards. Every step of self-improvement they take, every insight they gain, it's all pointing them toward this sunny future where they've proven themselves worthy of your time and attention again. The Sun is also about confidence and self-assurance, which is interesting because right now they're in that fearful hermit phase. But the Sun is showing me that there's going to come a point where they feel confident enough in their growth and their transformation that the fear will diminish. They'll step into the light and be ready to show you who they've become. And that confidence won't be fake or arrogant. It'll be genuine confidence that comes from doing the real internal work. What's beautiful about the Sun in this position is that it's saying the truth will set everyone free. When this person finally does reach out, and I do feel like they will eventually, the honesty and authenticity they bring will create this clearing of the air. It's like sunshine breaking through clouds after a storm. Everything will be visible, everything will be clear, and you'll both be able to see the situation for what it really is, without shadows or illusions. I'm getting that this person fantasizes about the moment when they finally have the courage to contact you. They play it out in their mind over and over. What they'll say, how they'll say it, how you might respond. And in their fantasy, influenced by this Sun energy, it goes well. They imagine you being open to hearing them out. They imagine being able to explain themselves. They imagine the possibility of rebuilding trust. Whether that fantasy matches reality is another question, but the energy of hope is definitely there. The Sun is also telling me that this person has learned to appreciate simple joys and simple truths. They've realized that happiness doesn't come from complicated games, or keeping walls up, or playing it cool. Real joy comes from authentic connection, from showing up as your real self, from being vulnerable and honest, and they want to experience that kind of pure, sunny happiness with you. Now let's talk about the fourth card because this one is really going to show you what's in this person's heart. The Knight of Cups just galloped right into this reading, and honestly, Taurus, this is the romantic energy personified. This is someone who wants to sweep you off your feet, who wants to offer you their heart, who wants to be your romantic hero. The Knight of Cups is showing me that underneath all that fear and regret, this person is deeply romantic and deeply emotional about you specifically. This isn't casual interest. This isn't just missing having someone around. This is genuine romantic feelings that they've been carrying around and don't know what to do with. The cup he's offering represents his heart, his emotions, his desire to give you something real and meaningful. What I'm picking up is that this person sees you as the one who got away. You're not just another person they dated or talked to, you're the person, the one they think about when they think about what they want in a partner, the one who set the standard, the one who showed them what real connection could feel like. And now they're sitting there with all these feelings and nowhere to put them because they're too scared to reach out. The Knight of Cups is also about proposals and offers, and I'm seeing that this person wants to make you an offer. Not necessarily a marriage proposal, although that energy could develop later, but an offer of a real relationship, an offer of commitment, an offer of their genuine, authentic love. They want to come to you and lay it all out. Here's how I feel. Here's what I want. Here's what I'm willing to give and do to make this work. But here's where it gets complex because knights are brave, but they're also idealistic and sometimes impractical. This person has all these romantic notions about how things should go, but they're paralyzed by the fear that reality won't match their romantic vision. What if they offer you their heart and you reject it? What if they pour out their feelings and you're not interested? What if they've built this up in their head and it falls flat in reality? The Knight of Cups is also traveling on a journey, and that journey is toward you, Taurus. But it's a slow journey because of all the fear and doubt we've seen in the other cards. They're moving in your direction emotionally and mentally, but they keep stopping, second-guessing, wondering if they should turn back. It's this constant internal battle between their romantic desire to reach out and their fear of how you might respond. I'm getting that this person has composed so many messages to you in their head, like full speeches about how they feel, what they regret, what they've learned, what they want. The Knight of Cups is eloquent and expressive, and this person wants to express themselves beautifully to you. They want their words to convey the depth of their feelings and the sincerity of their regret. But then they overthink it and worry that words won't be enough or that they'll say the wrong thing. What's interesting about the Knight of Cups is that it's a water sign card, and water represents emotions and intuition. This person is being guided by their feelings more than their logic right now. Their heart is telling them to reach out, to take the risk, to offer themselves to you. But their head keeps interfering with fear and worst-case scenarios. There's this internal tug-of-war happening. The white horse the knight rides represents pure intentions. And this is important for you to know, Taurus. Whatever this person is feeling, it's coming from a pure place. They're not trying to play games or manipulate you or get something from you for selfish reasons. Their intentions are genuinely romantic and genuine in wanting to build something real with you. That doesn't erase past mistakes, but it does mean their current feelings are authentic. I'm also seeing that the Knight of Cups represents someone who is willing to prove themselves through actions, not just words. Knights are about quests and earning their place, and this person understands that if they do reach out, they'll need to back up their words with consistent action. They can't just show up with pretty speeches and expect everything to be okay. They'll need to demonstrate real change and real commitment over time. The emotional depth shown by the Knight of Cups is telling me this person has accessed feelings they might have been suppressing or running from before. They've dropped into their heart space and discovered that what they feel for you is significant and real. And that discovery is both beautiful and terrifying for them, because real feelings mean real vulnerability. Moving into the fifth card now, and we get the Eight of Cups, which is adding another layer to this story. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that no longer serves you, and in this reading it's showing me two things. First, it's showing that this person had to walk away from their old patterns and old ways of being. They recognized that who they were before wasn't working, wasn't healthy, wasn't going to lead them to happiness or meaningful connection. So the Eight of Cups represents their journey away from their past self. They had to leave behind the ego, the defense mechanisms, the fear-based behaviors, all the things that contributed to what happened between you two. And that walking away was necessary for their growth, but it also meant walking away from the possibility of you at that time because they knew they weren't ready to be what you needed. But here's the second layer that's really important. The Eight of Cups can also represent the act of walking away from you as one of the biggest regrets this person carries. If they were the one who ended things, or who pulled away, or who didn't fight for the relationship, they now see that as a mistake. They walked away from something that actually was serving them. That was good for them. That was what they needed. They just didn't realize it at the time. I'm getting this image of someone looking back over their shoulder as they walk away, which is exactly what the figure in the Eight of Cups does. This person keeps looking back at what they left behind, which is you and what you two had together. They're haunted by the choice they made to leave or let things fall apart. And now, they're in this space of wondering if it's too late to turn around and go back. The Eight of Cups is also about a spiritual journey, and we're seeing this connect with the Hermit energy. This person has been on a quest for deeper meaning and understanding. They're asking themselves big questions about what really matters in life, what makes a relationship worth fighting for, what kind of person they want to be. And through all that questioning, they keep coming back to you as an answer. What's coming through is that this person now realizes they walked away from something real to chase something that turned out to be empty or unfulfilling. Maybe they left for another person who didn't work out. Maybe they left thinking they needed to be single and free only to discover that freedom without meaningful connection is lonely. Maybe they left thinking they'd find something better and realized nothing compares to what they had with you. The cups stacked in the card represent what's being left behind, and I'm seeing that this person is trying to leave behind all their baggage, all their issues, all their immature approaches to relationships. They want to walk away from all of that so they can eventually walk back to you as a completely different person. But the journey takes time and courage, and they're still in the middle of it. There's also this energy of nighttime journey with the Eight of Cups, which connects to their fear. They're traveling through dark territory, through uncertainty, not sure where they're going or how things will turn out. They're moving forward with their personal growth, but without any guarantee that it will lead them back to you. And that uncertainty is scary, but they're doing it anyway, because they know they have to. I'm picking up that this person might have tried to move on with others, but couldn't. The Eight of Cups shows leaving something behind, but in this case they tried to leave you behind emotionally and discovered they can't. You're still in their heart, still in their thoughts, still the standard against which they measure everyone else. And so they realized they need to take a different journey, not away from you, but toward becoming someone worthy of you. The eighth card position also suggests this is a turning point. 8 is about power and manifestation, and the Eight of Cups is saying this person is manifesting their transformation. They're actively creating change in themselves. But there's still this element of them being on the journey, not yet arrived at their destination. They're not quite ready to reach out, not quite finished with the work they feel they need to do. Now we come to the 5 of Cups, and this card is heavy with regret energy. I mean, we've been talking about regret throughout this reading, but the 5 of Cups is the regret card amplified. This person is fixated on what they lost, on the mistakes they made, on the opportunities they wasted. And that fixation is part of what's keeping them stuck and afraid to reach out. What I'm seeing is someone who is grieving, Taurus. They're grieving the loss of you, the loss of what you had together, the loss of what could have been. The 3 spilled cups in this card represent the things they're mourning. And I'm getting specifically that they're mourning the trust they broke, the moments they can't get back, and the version of you and them that existed before everything fell apart. But here's what's important about the 5 of Cups. There are 2 cups still standing behind the figure, but they're not looking at them because they're so focused on what's spilled. In your situation, this means there's still potential, there are still possibilities, there are still good things that could develop, but this person is so consumed by their regret and self-blame that they're not seeing the opportunities that still exist. The figure in the 5 of Cups has their back turned to the standing cups and to the bridge that could take them forward. This is showing me that this person is blocking themselves from reaching out to you because they're stuck in the past. They're so busy replaying their mistakes and beating themselves up that they're not seeing the path forward that's right there available to them. The bridge represents the way to cross over from regret to action, from past to future, from grief to hope. I'm getting that this person has days where the regret is overwhelming, like it hits them in waves and they just sit there feeling terrible about everything. They think about specific things they said or didn't say or didn't do, and they just wish they could go back and change it, but they can't. And that powerlessness to change the past is eating at them. The black cloak in the 5 of Cups represents mourning and hiding, and this person is definitely in a space of emotional hiding. They're not showing anyone how much they're hurting over losing you. They're keeping their regret private, which is part of why you probably don't know the extent of how they're feeling. To the outside world, they might seem fine or like they've moved on, but internally, they're wearing this cloak of grief. What's interesting is that the 5 of Cups is also about disappointment, and this person is deeply disappointed in themselves. They had expectations of who they were supposed to be, how they were supposed to handle things, what kind of partner they were supposed to be, and they fell short. And that self-disappointment is painful, because it means confronting the gap between who they want to be and who they actually were in the moment when it mattered. The river in the card represents emotions flowing, and this person's emotions about you are definitely flowing and active. They're not over it, not past it, not indifferent. The emotional current is strong and it keeps pulling them back to thoughts of you and what they lost. But the bridge across the river shows that emotions don't have to sweep you away. You can cross over them and move forward if you choose to. I'm picking up that this person sometimes spirals into really dark thoughts about the situation. They wonder if you hate them, if you've completely forgotten them, if you've moved on with someone better. The 5 of Cups energy can get pessimistic and catastrophic in thinking. And those dark spirals make them even more afraid to reach out because they convince themselves there's no hope anyway. But what the 5 of Cups is ultimately teaching is that you have to acknowledge the loss, feel the grief, but then at some point turn around and see what's still available to you. And I feel like this person is getting closer to that turning point where they stop staring at the spilled cups and start noticing the standing ones. They're beginning to realize that staying stuck in regret doesn't help anyone and doesn't change anything. The 7th card in this reading is the 7 of Cups, and this is showing me that this person has been trapped in fantasy and confusion. The 7 of Cups is about having many options and possibilities in your mind, but not being able to clearly see which one is real or right. And this person has been spinning out in their imagination about you and about the situation. What I'm seeing is that they keep imagining different scenarios. In one fantasy, they reach out and you welcome them back with open arms and everything is perfect. In another, they reach out and you tell them off and reject them completely. In another, they reach out and you're polite but distant. In another, they reach out and you've already moved on with someone new. All these different possibilities are swirling in their head, and they don't know which one will actually happen. And that uncertainty is paralyzing. The Seven of Cups is also showing me illusion and delusion. And I think this person has been deluding themselves in different ways throughout this journey. Maybe at first they deluded themselves that they didn't care, or that you weren't that important, or that they made the right choice. But those delusions eventually crumbled, and now they're dealing with reality, which is much harsher. But there's still some illusion happening because they're building you up in their mind as this perfect person and this perfect relationship that they lost. And while you are amazing, Taurus, some of what they're imagining might be idealized. They're viewing the past through rose-colored glasses now, remembering all the good parts, and maybe downplaying the actual issues that existed. That's not to say they're wrong to want you back, but their perception might not be completely accurate. The Seven of Cups represents being overwhelmed by choices and possibilities, and this person is overwhelmed by all the different ways they could approach you. Should they text, call, write a letter, show up in person, send flowers, reach out through a friend? The options feel endless, and they're stuck in analysis paralysis, unable to choose a path forward because they're trying to calculate which approach has the best chance of success. What's coming through is that this person needs to ground themselves in reality rather than living in all these imagined scenarios. The Seven of Cups is warning against getting lost in fantasy and losing sight of what's actually real and practical. If they want to reach out to you, they need to just do it in a straightforward, honest way, rather than trying to craft some perfect fantasy approach that will guarantee a specific outcome. I'm also getting that some of the cups in the Seven of Cups represent temptations or distractions, and this person might have gotten distracted by other things or other people at some point, but they're discovering that none of those distractions actually satisfied them or made them happy. Everything else feels empty compared to what they felt with you, and so they keep coming back to you in their mind. The eighth card brings us to the Knight of Pentacles, and this is actually a really positive sign for what this person is doing behind the scenes. While all those previous cards showed emotion and regret and fear and confusion, the Knight of Pentacles is showing me practical action and steady progress. This is someone who is actually doing something about their situation, not just feeling bad about it. The Knight of Pentacles represents slow, methodical, committed effort toward a goal. And this person's goal is to become the kind of person who deserves another chance with you. They're not just thinking about changing, they're actually putting in the work. Whether that's going to therapy, developing better habits, working on their career and finances, improving their health, whatever it is, they're taking practical steps. What I'm picking up is that this person understands they can't just show up with words and emotions. They need to demonstrate real, tangible change and growth. The Knight of Pentacles is about proving yourself through consistent action over time, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're building themselves into someone stable, reliable, and worthy of your trust again. The pentacle the Knight holds represents material and practical matters, and I'm seeing that this person is getting their life together in concrete ways. Maybe they're advancing in their career, maybe they're dealing with financial issues they had before, maybe they're creating stability where there was chaos. They understand that a solid foundation is important for any relationship to work, and they're building that foundation. The Knight of Pentacles is also the most patient of all the knights. And this connects to why they haven't reached out yet, despite all their feelings and regrets. They're being patient with themselves, giving themselves time to make real changes rather than rushing back to you prematurely. They want to make sure that when they do reach out, they're bringing something substantial and lasting, not just temporary promises. I'm getting that this person has a plan, Taurus. The Knight of Pentacles is methodical and strategic, and they're thinking through how to approach this situation in a way that shows respect for you and for what they put you through. They're not going to come at you with grand dramatic gestures. They're going to come with solid proof of their transformation and genuine commitment to doing things differently. The slow pace of the Knight of Pentacles explains why this is taking so long. They're not rushing the process because they know that real change takes time. They're being thorough and careful, making sure they address all the issues that led to problems before. And while that means you haven't heard from them yet, it also means that when you do, they'll be coming from a much more solid and genuine place. What's beautiful about the Knight of Pentacles is the dedication and loyalty represented. This card shows someone who doesn't give up easily and who honors their commitments. This person is committed to their own growth and transformation, and I'm seeing that they're also committed to the idea of eventually reconnecting with you if circumstances allow. They're playing the long game rather than looking for quick fixes. The ninth card is the Five of Swords, and this one is showing me some difficult truths about past conflicts and the aftermath of whatever happened between you two. The Five of Swords is about winning battles but losing the war, about hurting others and yourself in conflict, about the emptiness that comes from fighting when you should have been loving. What I'm seeing is that there were probably arguments or conflicts between you two, or maybe this person fought you on things where they should have been understanding and supportive. The Five of Swords suggests they might have said things they regret, things that were meant to win an argument or protect their ego, but ultimately damaged the relationship. And now they're living with the consequences of those moments. This card is showing me that this person realizes they were fighting the wrong battle. They were so concerned with being right or protecting themselves or maintaining control that they didn't see they were destroying something precious in the process. The Five of Swords is that moment of hollow victory where you realize you didn't actually win anything valuable, you just lost something important. I'm picking up that this person thinks about specific confrontations or disagreements and wishes they had handled them completely differently. They replay these scenes in their mind and imagine responding with kindness instead of defensiveness, with understanding instead of stubbornness, with love instead of ego. But the damage has been done, and they can't take those words or actions back. The figure in the Five of Swords is often interpreted as someone who won the battle, but is standing alone. And that's exactly what this person is experiencing. Maybe they got their way in certain arguments, maybe they protected their pride in the moment, but they ended up alone as a result. And they're discovering that being alone and right is much worse than being together, and sometimes wrong. What's interesting about the Five of Swords is that it shows the aftermath of conflict, not the conflict itself. The battle is over, the swords have been dropped, and now there's just this empty feeling of what was all that fighting even for. This person is in that aftermath space, looking at the destruction caused and trying to understand why they fought so hard against someone they actually loved. I'm also getting that the Five of Swords can represent defeat and humiliation, and this person feels defeated by their own behavior. They're humbled by the realization that they were their own worst enemy in the relationship. They defeated themselves through their actions and words, and that's a hard truth to swallow. But it's also necessary for growth. The last card in this reading is the Hierophant, and honestly, this card brings such profound meaning to everything we've discussed. The Hierophant represents tradition, commitment, spiritual guidance, and doing things the right way. And what I'm seeing is that this person now understands they want something traditional and committed with you. They want to do things properly this time. The Hierophant is about seeking wisdom from higher sources, and this person is looking for guidance about whether and how to reach out to you. They might be praying about it, they might be seeking advice from people they trust, they might be looking for signs from the universe about what to do. They understand this is too important to mess up again, so they want divine guidance on the right approach. What's really significant about the Hierophant is that it represents marriage and long-term commitment. This person isn't thinking about something casual with you, Taurus. They're thinking about the real deal. They're thinking about building something lasting and meaningful. They're thinking about doing this right, following the proper steps, earning your trust back through honorable actions. The Hierophant is also about values and moral codes, and this person has been examining their own values deeply. They're asking themselves what kind of person they want to be, what kind of partner they want to be, what principles they want to live by. And through that examination, they're realizing they want to align their actions with their values. And those values include honoring you and treating you with the respect and commitment you deserve. I'm getting that the Hierophant represents seeking approval and blessing. And this person wants to approach you in a way that honors what you went through. They're not trying to sneak back into your life or manipulate their way in. They want to come to you openly and honestly, almost like asking for your blessing to try again. There's a humility here that wasn't present before. The Hierophant sits between two pillars, representing balance and proper structure. And this person is trying to create balance in their life before reaching out. They want to have their career solid, their emotions regulated, their personal life organized, their spiritual practice established. They're building the kind of stable structure that can support a healthy relationship. What's touching about the Hierophant is that it shows someone who wants to learn the right way to love you. They're not assuming they already know, they're open to guidance and teaching. They're willing to learn your love language, understand your needs, respect your boundaries. There's a teachable quality here that suggests real openness to growth and change. The Hierophant also represents community and social structures. And I'm seeing that this person is thinking about how you fit into their larger life. They're thinking about introducing you to family, about integrating you into their friend group, about making you a real part of their world in a way that maybe didn't happen before. They want the people important to them to know how important you are to them. I'm picking up that this person has been studying relationships, maybe reading books about healthy partnerships, maybe listening to podcasts about emotional intelligence, maybe even going to therapy to understand relationship dynamics better. The Hierophant is the teacher and the student, and they're in student mode, trying to learn how to be a better partner. The religious or spiritual aspect of the Hierophant is telling me this person sees your potential connection as something sacred, not just casual or physical. They're recognizing that what you could build together has spiritual significance, that it's about soul growth and evolution, not just temporary pleasure or convenience. They want to honor that sacred potential. What's really beautiful is that the Hierophant suggests this person wants to make vows or promises to you, and they want to keep them this time. They understand that words without follow-through are meaningless, so they're preparing themselves to make commitments they can actually honor. They want to be someone whose word means something, especially to you. The keys at the Hierophant's feet represent access to hidden knowledge and wisdom, and this person has been unlocking truths about themselves and about love that they didn't understand before. Each insight is like a key opening another door of understanding, and all those doors are leading them toward the realization that they need to reach out to you, they need to try to make things right, they need to step into their fear and take the risk. So let me bring all of this together for you, Taurus, because this reading is painting such a complete picture of what's happening with this person. They went through this devastating realization represented by the Ten of Swords, where they understood they completely messed up. That sent them into hermit mode where they've been doing deep inner work and soul searching. Despite the pain and the isolation, there's this sun energy of hope and the vision of a bright future if things could work out. Their heart is full of feelings shown by the Knight of Cups. They want to offer you their love and commitment, but they're terrified of rejection. The Eight of Cups shows they're on this journey of transformation, walking away from who they were to become who they need to be. But the Five of Cups reveals they're still stuck in regret sometimes, still mourning what was lost, still struggling to turn around and see the opportunities that remain. The Seven of Cups shows they're caught in their own head with all these different scenarios and possibilities playing out, unable to decide on the right approach. But the Knight of Pentacles is the good news because it shows they're actually doing the work, making real practical changes, being patient and methodical about their growth. The Five of Swords acknowledges the conflicts and harsh words of the past that they deeply regret. And the Hierophant brings it all home by showing this person wants something serious, committed, and done right with you. What I want you to understand, Taurus, is that this person is genuinely afraid. They're afraid you won't give them another chance. They're afraid that too much time has passed. They're afraid that someone else has your attention now. They're afraid they'll say the wrong thing or approach you at the wrong time. They're afraid of getting hurt themselves because letting you back into their life means being vulnerable to rejection and pain. But beneath all that fear is genuine love and genuine regret. They're not indifferent to you. They're not over you. They're not unbothered. They think about you constantly. They miss you deeply. They regret how things went down. They wish they could go back and do it differently. And they're working on themselves because they want to be worthy of you. Now, I need to be real with you about something. Just because someone regrets their actions and wants another chance doesn't automatically mean you should give it to them. You need to trust your own intuition and protect your own heart. If and when this person does reach out, you'll need to assess whether their changes are real and lasting, whether you still have feelings for them, whether giving another chance aligns with your own highest good. But what I can tell you is that the energy here is sincere. This isn't someone playing games or trying to manipulate you. This is someone who genuinely cares and is genuinely trying to grow. Whether that's enough is something only you can decide when the time comes. The cards are showing me that they will likely reach out eventually. The combination of the Sun's optimism, the Knight of Cups romantic drive, the Knight of Pentacles determination, and the Hierophant's desire for proper commitment all point toward them eventually gathering the courage to contact you. But it might take more time than you expect because they're really trying to get themselves together first. In the meantime, what should you do? Live your life, Taurus. Don't sit around waiting for someone who might or might not reach out. Focus on your own happiness, your own growth, your own journey. If this person does come back and you're interested in hearing them out, you'll be in a much better position to make a clear decision if you've been focusing on yourself rather than fixating on them. And if they never reach out, then you'll know they weren't brave enough or ready enough, and you'll have spent that time building yourself up rather than waiting around. Either way, you win because you're prioritizing yourself. I also want to say that if this person is watching your social media or keeping tabs on you somehow, which the energy suggests they might be, seeing you happy and thriving is probably both painful and motivating for them. It's painful because they're not part of your happiness anymore, but it's motivating because it reminds them of what they lost and makes them want to step up their game. The overall message from this reading is one of hope mixed with realism. Yes, this person wants to reconnect. Yes, they're filled with regret. Yes, they're afraid. Yes, they're working on themselves. But none of that guarantees a specific outcome because you're a whole person with your own agency and your own feelings and your own timeline. What the universe seems to be saying is that there's potential here if both people are willing and ready. But timing matters. Healing matters. Genuine change matters. If this reconnection is meant to happen, it will happen when both of you are in the right space for it. And if it's not meant to happen, then something even better is waiting for you. Trust yourself, Taurus. Trust your intuition. Trust that you'll know what's right when the time comes. Don't let fear of being alone push you into accepting less than you deserve. But also, don't let pride or stubbornness prevent you from considering genuine offers of love and commitment if they come from a sincere place. The cards have spoken, and they're telling a story of regret, fear, growth, love, and hope. What you do with that information is entirely up to you. Just know that you're supported by the universe no matter what you choose, and your happiness is the ultimate goal here. I hope this reading gave you some clarity and helped you understand what might be going on beneath the surface with this person. Sometimes it helps to see things from both perspectives, to understand that other people are going through their own internal struggles and journeys that we can't see from the outside. Whatever happens between you and this person, I'm wishing you love, happiness, and the wisdom to know what's truly right for you. Trust the journey, trust yourself, and know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You're amazing, you're strong, you're worthy of genuine love and commitment, and you're going to be just fine, no matter what. Thank you for sitting with me through this reading. I hope it resonated with you and gave you some insight into this situation. Take care of yourself, beautiful Taurus soul, and remember that your worth isn't determined by whether someone chooses you or not. You're already complete and whole exactly as you are.